Hello guys. Previously we have learned how we can map the value from the another data view based on the value in the column. It must have the fixed lookup. This means we need a predefined set of value as well as a set of output value. We have seen the example in which we are adding the other feature column based on the value of the city name, but sometimes we need to perform the some calculation and determine its value. For example, we want to determine the amount paid is higher than the certain value or not. We can use the custom mapping function for that. Let's switch to Visual Studio. Here I have created a folder for the session 56, created input model as well as the demo class, and loaded the data from the dataset. Create a new method, name custom mapping. We need to pass a method that will be executed for the each row in the data view and determine the value for the particular column. In that action, we will get the instance of the input model as well as a mapping result. We already have an input model. Let's create mapping result class. This class contains all the columns that should be mapped based on the value of the input model. Let's create a property boolean is amount more than 3000. You can also add the multiple property if you want to generate the value for the multiple columns. For now, I just want to generate the single column only. Now we need to create an action for this. It will get the input model and mapping result. I am using the lambda expression for this. You can also use the classic syntax too. And set value for that flag when amount paid greater than 3000. Here our action is created. Now we need to create a pipeline that going to use this action. For this we need to use the custom mapping of the transform catalog, pass the action that we have created, and null for the contract name. We will learn more about the contract name later in this session. Add those 3 lines, add a breakpoint at the end, update the program.cs file, save all the files and run the project. Open the quick watch. Here you can see that it includes a new column, name is amount more than 3000. It contains the true or false value. You can also cross-verify by checking the value of the amount paid column. Let me create a new method, custom mapping with contract, and copy the body from the above method. Let me save the model here. Pass the model schema and path. Run the program. Here we got the exception, empty contract name for the transform, because we have specified the null in the contract name. Here we have created the inline action and pass it. But for generating the contract name, we need to create a mapping factory. Create a new class, name amount mapping factory. Inherit from the custom mapping factory of input model and the mapping result. Decorate this class with the custom mapping factory attribute and specify the name for the contract. I'm going to use the is amount more than 3000. We need to implement the get mapping method that defined in this abstract class. Let me copy paste the action. and return the action from here. Now our custom mapping factory was created. Here we need to call the get mapping from the amount factory. In the contract parameter, we need to pass the name of the contract that we have specified in the attribute. Use the component catalog dot register assembly method to register the assembly. This assembly will use while saving or loading the model. Because mapping functions reside in our assembly, so we need to pass the assembly of amount mapping factory. We have saved the model. Let me load the model and use it for the further operation. Use the load method of the model catalog and specify the path and the input schema. And use the saved model for transforming the data view. Add a breakpoint at the end. Save the file and run the project. This time it does not throw any kind of exception. As well as in the quick watch, you can see that it includes that column. Well, let's see what we have learned in this session. Using the custom mapping, we can use the CSAP logic to generate the value for the column. In the first example, we have created action and passed it. Action will get the input model as well as the mapping result model. Column defined in the mapping result will automatically map into the data view. In this example, we have defined the action in the new class. We need to inherit it from the custom mapping factory as well as decorate it with the custom mapping factory attribute and specify the contract name. We need to register the assembly as logic written within the CSAP code. Otherwise, we will not able to save the model. Stay tuned for the next session.